I'm going to look in the back and make sure that we are good to go and we're rolling. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome, commissioners, staff, petitioners, and citizens to the December 9th meeting. Can you believe it's December? It's unbelievable. And a Merry Christmas to everybody, because this is our last meeting rolling into the end of the year. Introduction of staff. To my right, we have Donna Witt, our administrative planner. Next to Donna, Shad Annis, our associate planner. To my left, we have Krista Hill, senior planner. Next to Krista is our city planner, Derek Spear. In the front row, Ken Prince, our executive director, and David Bent, our legal counsel. Donna, would you please call for the roll?
Chris Jamrose. Here. Drew Cash.
Here.
Woody Emmons.
Here.
Sam Cressy.
Here.
Drew Johnson.
Here.
Randy Frost.
Here.
Kathy White Gaddage. Mike Portalese. Chris Torty.
Here, and we have enough for a quorum. So we'll roll into the rules of procedure. They're up on the board and to my right and to the left. We do all of our speaking at the podium. And when you come up, if you could leave your name and address clearly so Donna can take that into the notes, it would be greatly appreciated. Patience for those attending online. I don't believe we have anybody online, and I'm seeing in the control center, he's nodding no, so I don't think we have anybody online. So first we'll hear a presentation by the petitioner. For each item, we will ask those participating on the room to speak first, followed by those participating online. Then we'll hear those who wish to speak in favor of the request, then those against the request. If you're not sure whether you're speaking in favor or against and you just have general questions, I suggest you come up during the against the request. We'll accumulate all of our questions into a list, and then we'll have a right of rebuttal for the petitioner. We'll close the public hearing. We'll have a commission discussion and then a commission vote. The previous month's minutes, November, were there any corrections or additions to those minutes? All those in favor of approving those minutes say aye.
Aye.
Those minutes are approved. November. We do have adoption of the 2026 rules of procedure, meeting schedule, and fee schedule to be voted on. Our executive director, Ken Prince, is going to come up and talk about that.
Mr. President, members of the Commission, Ken Prince, Director of Planning and Community Development. As part of this year's fee schedule, we were specifically charged by the Mayor's Office. Those in attendance that don't already know, when the state legislature enacted SEA 1, modifying the property taxes, the city is projected to lose $15 million in revenue over the next few years. $15 million for perspective. We could cut every single department in the city, and we would still have to cut police and fire in addition to that by 8%, 8.5%. It is a huge impact to our budget. So part of the mitigation for that is we need to look at the obvious of what we haven't done in a while, and our fees have not been adjusted in the better part of a decade. So we are specifically looking at that. When we looked at that, we wanted to keep it in line with Southbound and Elkhart, so the numbers that we have included are in line but slightly higher. We know that they will also be likely adjusting their fees, so we're not quite sure how that is going to work out for them. But using 2024 as a typical year, the fees for our department in 2024, because we had a full year to compare it to, were $48,561. With the new updated fees, that would be $90,890 collected. And part of that is when you look at very simple requests, look at the downzoning of properties. So we have a number of properties that are currently zoned industrial that inevitably, and they are single family, when they come up for sale, they come to you for downzoning of property. Our previous fee was $25 for that request because we wanted to encourage it. But actually our advertising costs for doing the publication is between $80 and $100 per request. So increasing that fee to $100, although we're quadrupling it, essentially it's just covering our costs at that point for what we have to do for the advertising. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have, and I do have one other item as well, Mr. President.
So all the items that we were given and the pricing, these are correct, right?
The ones that you were given is the new pricing, and I should also note that in addition to the Planning Commission and the Board of Zoning Appeals, this also has to be approved by the Common Council. It's up for second reading this coming Monday at their council meeting. So these would only go into effect if, as approved by the Common Council. Yes?
Did I miss, what percent did you, of this raise, do you have a percentage?
Each one is different, Woody, so I can forward you, I thought John Rogoman would have done that when it was forwarded, because it was prepared through the attorney's office and then sent, but I printed out, and I can hand it to you, but annexations, for example, going to $300 to $500 for under 10 acres, but over 10 acres is going from $500 to $1,000. Rezoning for single family is staying at $400. So the previous one, we didn't break out between single family and commercial, so we kept the single family at $400. But the rezoning petition for other than single family, so you're changing it for a drive-through or something to that effect, it is now going to $800, so it's doubling that fee. And each one was looked at independently based on what other communities are charging, and then how we could tactfully not impact what I'd call the everyday person. Like if you're putting a new Starbucks in, a few $100s isn't a big deal, but if I'm putting a fence in and I need a variance, that is a harder ask to increase. So we took that in mind when we were adjusting the fees.
I was just curious if there was a percentage that you raised.
If there's no further questions, I'm happy to hand this to you.
Any other questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you.
Thank you. So the next item, Mr. President, as you're aware, last year we ran into what I'll call a little snafu because this body is required by law to appoint one of its members to the Board of Zoning Appeals. As you know, the Board of Zoning Appeals happens before the Planning Commission meeting. So last year at the opening meeting for the Board of Zoning Appeals, we had a member from this body attend but hadn't yet been appointed. So at this time, I'd like the Planning Commission to appoint somebody under new business to the Board of Zoning Appeals for the calendar year 2026. So that does not need to be made now, but I want to put that on record so we make sure we do that before we leave today. And I would note that Mr. Twardy is the current appointment from the Planning Commission, and I would encourage to have him do that again.
Thank you. We can do that now.
The key is, do you want to do it?
That's your discretion.
Okay, sounds
I'd like
good.
to make a suggestion and appointment of Chris Torti as president of the BZA.
I'll second that.
Is there any other nominations? Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Kathy White Gaddis? Oh, sorry. Where did it?
That's it, all right.
Unless you want to vote for yourself. Chris.
No, I'm not going to vote for myself, but thank you. I appreciate the nomination, and I'm happy to do it again. So thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, is there any conflict of interest on any of the agendas tonight?
Anybody want to look at that?
Hearing none, that brings us to the first item on the agenda, which is petition 25-21. This will get resolved at the council, and we're just going to make a recommendation on it tonight and hear the hearing. A request submitted by Edward J. and Gwyneth Sauceda requesting a rezone 902 and 902 and a half South Main Street from R1 Single Family Residential to R2 Family Residential. Is there somebody here to present this? Hi.
Hello, my name is Julie Circle. My address is 56818 Raider Drive, Elkhart, 46516. I'm representing Ed and Gwen. They are the property owners. They actually live in California. So I'm with Keller Williams Realty, and I do have their property under contract, and that's how this came up. The property has been used as a duplex since 1951. And in order to make a real estate sale go through where somebody gets a loan on the property, R1 doesn't work for a duplex, R2 does. And so we were hoping to get it changed to R2.
And this has been operated as an R2, it looks like since the 80s, right?
1951.
Oh,
it's-
1951.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, and then in 1990. Oh, okay, got it.
We've had some other requests similar to mine, but I don't think anybody was trying to get a loan previously, it seems like. And this time, the buyer is.
Has there been any issues that you know of with code enforcement, parking, or complaints or anything on that property?
I think the parking may be an issue. We have 3 known spaces. The driveway would hold 2 cars, and then the garage would hold 1. I do have a suggestion for that. You can see it at the rear of the house there, the chain link fence to the right of the driveway. It's enclosing a 14 by 21 concrete patio, and it has a little small berm of grass that's about 14 inches that separates the concrete of the patio from the driveway. What we were thinking is we could take the chain link fence down on the driveway side, and then that patio would be free to use as parking as well.
I'm not sure you'd be able to park there.
Is there a handicapped
Gotta
person?
think.
There is currently a handicapped person living there with an installed ramp. She doesn't drive or have a car.
Oh, okay, yep. Oh, I know that house, yep.
Yeah, and there's another person that lives upstairs, also doesn't drive or have a car. But, you know, tenants change, so we want to comply with what the city asks. But I would also like to consider the property owner's needs as well.
Other questions?
Is the property metered, 2 meters? or-
Yes.
Oh, okay, so there's no conflict with paying the bill and,
No,
Such,
it's been handled by a property management company for years, and it's all separate.
thank you.
Also, if you look at the entryway to the sidewalk, it looks like there's planking. Is there a hole there or something as you walk up to the house?
I've never seen that. I think that's an older picture, and I did see the property this year before there was any snow. I've not seen that. It does look like a piece of plank or something
Yeah,
there.
2 pieces of
Yeah.
planking in there. I mean, to me, that should be
Yeah.
taken care of.
I know that those pictures were taken more than 3 years ago because they came from the prior realtor, who's actually the person who asked me to sell this property. And she shared her older pictures with me.
I think we should please check that out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Perhaps it needs to be augmented to accommodate the wheelchair, and maybe that's why those are there, right?
It might be, yeah.
It looked like there's a hole there.
Small ramp.
Huh?
That
Looking
one?
at these,
Yeah.
I think that's a small ramp. There's maybe a step there.
Yeah.
That could be.
Okay, any other questions? Nope, thank you for the presentation.
thank
Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of petition 25-21? Hearing none, is there anybody in the room wishing to speak in opposition to 25-21? Anybody online wishing to speak in opposition of 25-21? Is there any additional information, Mr. City Planner?
Information.
Okay, with that, I'll close the public hearing, and if there's no further discussion, I'll take a motion on 25-21.
I've got a quick discussion. We've
Sure.
got 2 letters of non-conforming use which lay out when the property, it was vacant for 6 months, an act of God destroys the house, or if it's converted back to single-family use, then it'll lose its legal non-conforming use status as a duplex. So I guess my question here is, as a body and as a city, rezoning to R2 permanently establishes it as a duplex, where so far it's just been a non-conforming use, is my understanding. So, you know, I guess that's just open for discussion of, it's surrounded by single family currently, and is this going to be just a permanent duplex going forward? Is that what we want for the city?
I think that's
It's a valid question.
a valid question.
Especially given that it's surrounded by single family.
Well, it's been a duplex since when?
51?
And people have moved in here since then. They accepted it when they moved in as a duplex. It's not like it was built yesterday.
And I don't think if we rejected this, the sale wouldn't go through. It could still be R2, or it could still be a duplex. It would be a continued legal non-conforming use, so it wouldn't change it to single family. But this is a permanent adjustment to R2.
Well, the sale wouldn't go through right now. They wouldn't be able to get the
Correct.
mortgage.
Correct, yeah. It wouldn't go through, but it would continue to operate as a duplex non-conforming use.
I think your comments are very, very valid, and certainly if there was past complaints, if there was neighbors that thought that they would have the chance to speak against this, they would be here. Ultimately, this is going to get decided by the council. Woody Emmons, what's your thoughts on what Sam had said about, as a city, are we looking to have less of these actually R2s, and is it a chance to make them R1s? And your microphone's not in front of you.
Well, the council, on a whole, doesn't look favorable on R2, especially when you have one house and you're dividing it up. And also the rentals, you know, in the city, especially of that type, that they're tough to maintain, especially here again when the owners are in California. You really have no grasp of getting them to look at them, maintain them, and that. And like I say, we've been having a lot of problems, maybe not with this one, but with residents like this, of maintaining it and keeping it to the standards. And from shoveling the sidewalk, to mowing the grass, to maintaining the structure, and that. And like I say, we have problems with people that are out of state of maintaining their property. And so we look very, very close at that. And like I say, we have some that are really substandard, and they started out as pretty nice homes, and they just kind of deteriorated down. So maybe this one won't, but you never know. And like I say, once you're living in California, they don't have eyes on this house. And I don't know who will have the eyes of that house.
Yeah, you can ask, you can come up and address, because we're in the council discussion.
Thank you for bringing that up. This house is very well maintained. It has been in the hands of a property manager the entire 3 years that it's been handled or owned by the current owner. It actually is one of the best-looking homes on the street. It's very neat and taken care of. I understand what you're saying, but there's a house across the street that's a duplex. I mean, it's not the only one there, and I feel like my clients that are trying to sell this property is paid in full. They cannot get a home equity loan on it. They can't sell it. They can't do anything with it to, you know, maybe sell it to somebody who wants to use it as a single-family home, because due to Mishawaka's rules, it can't have a loan on it because of the statement that you made, Samuel, about if it's destroyed by an act of God, it has to be put back as a single-family home. they're kind of trapped, the property owner is, and keeping the property, and they've moved away. So I don't feel like this property, what I'm asking is anything different than the property's always been used for.
Right.
Well, one thing we look at is that the house is built as a single-family resident, and then trying to change it into a duplex. I personally have problems with that, you know. Now, if the house was built 2 separate units, and it was classified as single, then that's different. But here you're taking a single-family residence and trying to take it into.
Oh, no, sir. It has been a duplex since 1951. It has 2 kitchens. It has a separate entrance for each area. It has a 1-bedroom apartment with a living room and bathroom upstairs, and downstairs it has 2 bedrooms, a living room and a bathroom and a kitchen.
But
Separate
what I'm
entrance.
saying is it was built as a single-family home.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
That's my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Then converted into a duplex from a one-family residence.
Thank you for the clarification.
Can I ask you a question?
Yep, sure.
The current owners are out of state,
Yes.
and do the new owners that are trying to buy this and get a loan, are they in Mishawaka?
The new owners live in Mishawaka. They want to own investment properties. They want the same tenants to stay in the home. They just want to take ownership of this property. And we are under contract with a closing date of November 14th, which of course is passed because we're juggling this situation, so.
Is it, did the current owners ever occupy the home, or was it always an investment
They
property?
did not. It's always been an investment property.
And you're saying that, and just help me understand, and I'm sorry for the question, it's the type of, it's all financing? Is it this particular lender, or is it all financing that will not allow it because of the category of financing? And was it a longer market exposure time? The house just didn't sell previously to this?
No. So to answer your question about the lending, Sam, you said the rule that Mishawaka has, and you quoted it very well. It basically says if you have an R1 house that's being used in non-conforming use as a duplex, if somebody does a loan on it and the house goes down by tornado or whatever, it has to be put back as a single-family home. So that discourages any lenders from lending on the home as it stands right now. They won't, because they're lending on something that's going to bring investment income, and it wouldn't anymore if that happened. My property owners, they simply they're older. They've decided to get rid of all their investment properties, and this was the last one they had. And they're just trying to sell it and be done with it.
Okay.
So it's been in non-compliance for a while.
I believe it's been in non-compliance since the 80s. Now, we have a non-conforming on that handicap ramp. My property owners do, but that went through the council and everything when it was done for the current tenant. And it was, approved. It's just, the way it's configured, it's too long for the setback guideline. But that was the only way it could go in, so.
Thank you. I have one question for Mr. Spear. If the property were to be sold to a single-family user, there would be no issues if they wanted to convert the house, so the owners could still sell the property. It would just need to go to somebody who would use it as a single-family home in order for them to get financing. Or if they purchased the home without financing, they could continue operating as a non-conforming use. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And then I think just one more item for my commissioners. Looking at the map on the last page, you can see that it's surrounded entirely by R1. There's one R2 on 9th Street, a block away, but everything else is R1. So for me, it just feels a little inappropriate to change the character of the property permanently. I would be fine with letting it continue to operate as it has, not causing any issues for as long as it stands, but a permanent change to the property zoning just sort of sets in stone what this property is going to be, forever, basically.
And I think that was to my point, Mr. Circle, you're welcome to address it again, but my point was, I mean, if this property was a property that had perhaps even faced hardship on the market, an extraordinary period of time without the opportunity for a cash buyer, but I would think that a cash buyer coming in who wants to continue to operate it like that would certainly, be an option for your folks to sell it. It's just the lender on there. And I tend to agree with Sam's comments on it.
I think both of your comments are well taken and understood. I also think that it'd be easier if we had neighbors that complained, or if we had issues in the past with compliancy and not keeping up the property, that would make it a no-brainer in my mind. But I can see how this is kind of a mixed feel on it. But if there's no other discussion, let's,
Were neighbors given notice for a rezoning?
I'm sure they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My thing, as I stated, is that, as Sam says, you look at the neighborhood, it's all R1, except for this one, and then one C1. And my thing is, we try to protect the neighborhoods, not to let them start developing into different zonings and hodgepodge and that. Keep a neighborhood as R1, and that, once you start changing the R1s, it's tough to keep it R1. Because you're setting a precedent that, hey, you can do that. And
I'm going to have you come back up. How long have the people lived there in both duplexes?
The tenant that's handicapped has been there for 14 years, and the tenant in the upstairs has been there for 3 years.
Been there for 3.
How long was it on the market when these
6
people?
months.
6 months, okay.
And that's way longer than normal. We did have one cash offer. It's under contract for $175,000. We had one cash offer at $110,000.
Okay, thank you. Well, we're prepared to vote a recommendation tonight, and of course, this will go to the council, and the council tends to do what the council wants to do once it gets there. But let's entertain a motion on petition 25-21. One way or the other.
I make a motion to reject petition 25-21.
second?
We have a motion and a second to reject 25-21. So a yes is a agree with the reject. A no is a disagree with the reject. So yes is agree with the reject. I want to make sure I'm very clear with that. Okay, Donna, would you please call?
Chris Jamrose? No. Drew Cash?
No.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
No.
Chris Torty?
No. So that was a what to what, Donna? Help me out.
It was 4-3 for
So it-
no's.
It did. We don't have 5 votes, so that does not go either way. So this will actually move to the council with no recommendation. Thank you for the presentation. Next on the agenda, we have petition 25-22. This will also go to the council because it's a rezone. A request submitted by Aldor Investments LLC requesting to rezone 2106 North Burkett from C4 auto-oriented commercial to R1 single-family residential. there somebody here to present this? Hi.
My name is Joseph Franks. I am the new owner of the property, but the address is the same as the property you just read off. The initial issue I ran into trying to purchase this property is when I had the first appraisal done, it listed a line that said this property cannot be rebuilt unless rezoned. So I thought initially that I had to rezone this property before even purchasing and closing on the property. But for future use, I'd like to be able to, do a fence or anything, and I plan on using this property as a single-family home for the remainder of its use while I'm there.
Thank you. Makes sense to me. Any other questions? No other questions? Thank you for the presentation.
No problem.
Is there anybody else in the room or online wishing to speak in favor of petition 25-22? Is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to petition 25-22? Mr. City Planner, is there any additional information?
No additional information.
Okay, then I'll close the public hearing, and if there's no further discussion, I'll take a motion on 25-22.
Motion to accept petition 2522.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. The second was Randy. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and petition 25-22 will move to the council with a favorable rating. Next, we have petition 25-23. It's also a rezone that will go to the council, a request submitted by DA Dodd LLC requesting to rezone 1825 East 12th Street from C1 General Commercial to I1 Light Industrial.
Good evening. Hello, good evening. Chris Kadlowski, Evan Marsh Consultants, 315 West Jefferson Boulevard, South Bend. I represent DA Dodd and the CEO, Jason DeMeyer. This is a request for a rezoning for C1 to I1. From the conceptual site plan, they're looking to construct a new building immediately east of the current building, and it would be for light manufacturing, kind of fit the current building's use and the proposed building use. There are some, light manufacturing is sheet metal fabrication. There are some similar zoning districts of I in the area, and in accordance with the staff report, they suggested buffering on the south and west sides, which is appropriate. There is a distance between the new proposed building and the residential area to the south and west, but that buffering would add some consistency to it. If I haven't mentioned before, this is an expansion of an existing business in the city into this area for more production. This will eventually, if approved and going forward, we'll have a plat to combine all the lots into one and provide all the necessary easements and go through the site plan process as well. I can answer any detailed questions, and if not, Jason can answer them as well.
Questions? Anybody? No? Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of petition 25-23? Is there anybody in the room or online wishing to speak in opposition to petition 25-23? Hearing none, is there any additional information?
No additional information.
I will close the public hearing, and if there's no further discussion, I'll ask for a motion on 25-23.
Motion to accept petition 25-23.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I think Woody got the second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and petition 25-23 will move to the council with a favorable rating. Thank you for the presentation. Next, we get into a plat, which is a pass-fail, 25-07, a request submitted by John Joseph Cousins seeking approval of the one-lot Douglas and Main liquor store subdivision.
Good evening again. Chris Godlewski, Evan Marsh Consultants, 315 West Jefferson Boulevard, South Bend, Indiana. I represent the Coldwell banker, John Pericini, and the prospective buyer, which is Peter Singh. You saw this some time ago with a site plan for the construction details, laying out the liquor store. This is kind of wrapping up that portion into a plat, segregating out the 1.5 acres out of the large piece, dedicating easements and so forth. Not much to it. I can answer any detailed questions you have.
Is the, with the Golden Corral, to get to Golden Corral, you gotta come off of Douglas Road.
Correct.
And make a right-hand turn to go back to the Golden Corral.
Correct.
And make another turn to get into it.
Correct.
Well, with the proposed liquor store, you're gonna follow the same route?
Correct, but instead of turning, when you're going south, instead of turning right into the Golden Corral, you'll turn left into the liquor store.
Okay.
The accesses don't perfectly line up, but it's all being accessed off that service road, not
Well, it's a
Douglas.
dead end that was you come into, to down. to,
Correct. It goes a little bit further south, but it does dead end, yes.
I just, concerned about the traffic. When I say traffic, it's tough to get in and out of that, off of Douglas Road, in, not so much going in, coming out, because you're crossing 2 lanes of traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And has that been taken into consideration of what the
Definitely
traffic flow's gonna be?
Definitely a busy road. During the past review with the engineering site plan, with engineering department and planning department, the volume of traffic did not come up to warrant a traffic study. So nothing specifically to, for this plan to address any traffic concerns.
Any concerns with the, it's not immediate, but the proximity to the fire station and then just the additional traffic, was that in consideration at all? Just busier traffic flow, that the fire would have had a comment on it, I would assume, correct? Okay, that's, then,
Fire's main concern was just that there was a hydrant present and
Okay.
that there was circulation inside so a truck can get around.
yeah, but no, nothing to do with the traffic?
No, not the access point onto Douglas, no.
Well, the fire department just installed, it looked like a traffic light of sorts that warn people when they're exiting and entering the property. So that's not going to affect this one bit. I mean, the traffic there is not going to affect them one bit. Fire department.
I would suspect so, yeah, because they're 2 separate access points, yeah.
So there'll be nothing off of Douglas?
Correct, no access off Douglas.
Oh, there's no, I'm looking at this wrong,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
That answers my question, of course, yeah.
I mean, if you want to head south on that service road, you guys can do that too. Go right in a cornfield.
Sorry about that. It's only off that north-south access road, nothing on Douglas. There's a non-access easement on the plat, so no access can go onto Douglas. It has to go off a drive onto that entrance road, correct, where she's pointing. Yep.
Is Couzens Boulevard a public road, or is that private?
Private. And it's the easement that serves Golden Corral and the remainder of the development as it develops. I don't know if John wants to add anything to that.
John Pericini, 633 Whitney Cove Drive, Mishawaka, Coldwell Banker Commercial. It's eventually designed to go to the city when it's completed. And the layout of this, if you remember, some of you were here, we had that 10 acres in the back end behind Cheddar's was approved for apartments, but they never developed it. So there is a layout to have this come out behind Portillo's and them someday when that gets done. There's access easements coming out of, actually by Portillo's and all that strip. So when they develop that, there's going to be some interconnectivity there. But eventually that road is to come back out because that developer bought the corner right along, actually off of the Cressy Group, along Edison Lakes, so the utilities could come in through there and get an access out there. But we had hoped it was going to happen, but that department development just didn't happen yet. So that's the long-range plan because of the traffic.
Questions for Mr. Perricini? Thank you for the clarification.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else in the room wishing to speak in favor of Plat 25-07? Hearing none, is there anybody wishing to speak in opposition to Plat 25-07? Is there any additional information?
No additional information.
Okay, then we'll close the public hearing, and I'll call for a motion on 25-07.
I make a motion to approve 25-07.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose,
Yes.
Drew Cash,
Yes.
Woody Emmons,
Yes.
Sam Cressy,
Yes.
Drew Johnson,
Yes.
Randy Frost,
Yes.
Chris Torty.
Yes, and Plat 25-07 passes. Moving right along, and thank you for the presentation. Moving right along, replat number 24-06, a request submitted by Barak Group LLC and Joshua Goldstein and Victoria Valkulenko and Michael and Hannah Kazuski, seeking approval of the 3-lot, the Gate at Riverwood PUD first replat.
You did very well with those pronunciations.
My wife's
there,
Polish, I
Chris.
should get some of these right.
Terry Lang with the Whiteman office. Our address is 1402 Mishawaka Avenue in South Bend, to represent the petitioners here, and I'm not going to make the effort to even try to pronounce those. The replat before you is to jockey property lines that were misrepresented through a sale. There was a deed prepared inappropriately, and what it amounts to is, when it all came down to it, everybody got attorneys, and it came to a screeching halt for the actual plat to be heard. After about 6 months now, the attorneys have come to an agreement. The plat has been submitted to everybody's satisfaction, and the attorneys representing them have approved it, and we're looking to adjust that property line. You'll see on the plat on the overhead there, that narrow strip along the easterly side of lots 1 and 2 is the strip of land where the fence had been placed in the wrong location over 20 years ago, and they thought the fence was the property line when in fact it wasn't. If they'd have done a little bit of research at the building department, they would have been able to tell that it wasn't. But to make a long story short, we're here to rectify all of the legal issues that have come up. The plat before you is to correct those lines and give the people that the property that they thought they were getting, and compensate people that are losing part of their property also.
Yeah, when I saw this drawing, I thought, why would they make this backyard or survey this backyard so tiny? So you're saying it's a fence line that was,
The fence that was installed
Represented
by
maybe-
the previous property owner was placed approximately 18 feet over the property line. So when it went to sale, the realtor, I guess, said, you own everything back to the fence. And instead of having the survey done, which would have been the prudent thing, they didn't, and they assumed they owned back to the fence. I came in to do the plat for the Gate at Riverwood to build 2 new homes there on Beacon, and it was discovered that the fence was over the property line, and homes were built, sales of homes have taken place, and now it's a legal battle that's been going on for over a year. And they finally come to a conclusion on a resolution for it, and the plat is that resolution.
So this plat is the resolution, and all 3 are in agreement with this?
That's what the attorneys had presented to me as the resolution, so that's what I've prepared.
Okay. Because I remember this a few times.
I say, this came to us last year.
Yeah.
I had the pleasure of not being at the first meeting. I had a conflict with a meeting over in Elkhart, and I wish I would have been here, but I apologize for that.
Okay, so, okay. It makes more sense than the last one I remember seeing. So, any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Lang. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of replat 24-06? In favor?
Hi, I'm Joshua Goldstein. I live at 1111 Canoe Landing Court. I'm one of the petitioners, and we all agreed on this, and I would hope that you guys would approve this.
Yep. I also live at the same address, and I'm Victoria Vakulenko. And I also support in favor of the new property lines.
Thank you. It means a lot to come up and speak at things like this, so thank you very much for doing that. In favor?
Hi, everybody. I'm Michael Kenny-Jetski. My wife, Hannah, and I live at 1108 Beacon Drive. Last year, I was in opposition of this because I wasn't really aware of what was going on, and it seemed like some of my land was being taken away from me. I've been working this out with my neighbors for over a year now, and we're finally all happy. So we would really appreciate it if it went forward. Thanks.
Great. Thank you for coming in and letting us know. Is there anybody else wishing to speak in favor of replat 24-06? Is there anybody wishing to speak against replat 24-06? Is there any additional information?
No additional information.
Okay, we'll close the public hearing, and I'll take a motion on 24-06.
I make a motion to approve replat 2406.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
Randy Frost?
Yes.
Chris Torty?
Yes, and replat 24-06 finally passes. Thank you for the presentation. All right, moves us to a design review. Design review 25-10, a request submitted by Mishawaka Penn Harris Library requesting a design review waiver to allow letters to exceed 18 inches in height located at 209 Lincoln Way East.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Doug Merritt, 2319 Lincoln Way East, Mishawaka, Indiana. Well, we run into a situation where we had to turn ourselves in. So we had a situation occur where we have the descender of the letter P, which turned out to be 19 inches in character height, and the ordinance only allows for 18 inches. So well, it's one of those situations where we went back to the library and we decided the 1 inch is worth it. So we come to you this evening and we respectfully request that you approve the 1 inch on the descender of the P, and we can move forward with installation.
Thank you. Any questions?
That's hilarious.
The sign exists already and done.
Not yet.
Not yet, oh, all right, well. So with that, anything else? No other questions? Thank you for the presentation. Anybody else wishing to speak in favor of design review 25-10? Anybody wishing to speak in opposition of design review 25-10? There's no additional information, then I'll take a motion on 25-10.
I make a motion to approve 25-10.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Donna, would you please call for the vote?
Chris Jamrose?
Yes.
Drew Cash?
Yes.
Woody Emmons?
Yes.
Sam Cressy?
Yes.
Drew Johnson?
Yes.
And Chris Torty?
Yes, design review
Oh.
20,
I'm sorry, I missed Randy.
Poor Randy.
oh, Randy.
Sorry.
Randy's a yes, I'm a yes, and design review 25-10 passes. Thank you for the presentation. Next, we have one where the petitioner requests to table this, which is site plan 25-09. All those in favor of tabling this request, say aye.
Aye.
The site plan 25-09 is officially tabled. Is there any old business?
None.
New business?
None.
Privilege of the floor?
I would just like to say one thing. Saturday's IU game, was outstanding. Let's go, let's win this thing.
I'm finally rooting for IU for the first time ever in my entire life, so you got me on board. We're adjourned.
Had to throw that in.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy New Year.